Hello, and a big welcome to both Year 8 students and parents to GCSE Film Studies. Um, GCSE Film Studies is a new subject to us at Carshalton High School for Girls. We've taught A-level film studies with very high levels of success for the past 10 years or so, but this year is the first year that we've got an opportunity to actually offer film studies at GCSE level. We're just going to start off with some facts about the film industry. There's probably quite a few questions you've got both about the subject, but also you might be curious about what GCSE Film Studies or other film studies qualifications could lead to in the future. So, we wonder if you know that the British film industry is the second largest film industry in the world. Obviously, no prizes for guessing that the American film industry is the biggest, but by most measures, the British film industry is the second largest film industry in the world. And the British film industry contributes about £3 billion a year to the UK economy. It's a fairly major part of the economy. There are over 66,000 people who work in the British film industry. And certainly before lockdown, that number was increasing year on year. The film industry was a growth industry in the UK, the film and television production industries. There are more jobs in the film industry and the television production industry in the UK at present than there are people to fill them. So it's a real growth industry. There's all sorts of jobs. I mean, this is quite a way down the line for most of you. I think it will be pushing it to say that you could just walk into any of these jobs just with a GCSE in film studies, but it's a very good starting point if this is an area that you're kind of interested in working in. There's loads of different jobs within the film industry. So, for example, there are jobs as camera operators. There are jobs as editors, film editors, major job within the film and television industry, actually editing together footage to produce finished films. There are jobs as video effects artists, so applying digital video effects to films in post-production. There are jobs in makeup and as prop artists in the film industry as well. And far more jobs than we've got time to kind of run through here. But there are plenty of employment opportunities within the film industry in the UK. As I've said already, really, we can't make any promises that just taking GCSE film studies is going to be like an instant way into the media industry or the film industry. But doing subjects like media studies or film studies might be a kind of step in the right direction. And obviously GCSE film studies can lead to further qualifications in film studies or media studies, if that's the way that you wanted to go in terms of your career potentially. We've had quite a lot of students that have studied either media studies or film studies at Carshalton High School for Girls, both at GCSE and A-level, who've gone on to get jobs in the media industry or the film industry. We've had students who've got jobs working for ITV, the television broadcaster, for the BBC, and for the Daily Telegraph, and many other students who've gone on to get jobs working in kind of smaller television and film production companies. We're very successful as a media studies department at GCSE. For many years we've got excellent exam results for GCSE media studies, but as I've said already, we're one of the only schools in the local area to offer GCSE film studies, and it is a relatively new subject to us for GCSE. So if you really love film, then film studies might be the subject for you. We clearly offer media studies as well. Media studies, in media studies you study a whole range of different topics across the media. Film studies really does just specialise in film. You only study film, you only study the film industry. We study a range of different films. Some of those are older films, so for example, films like Rebel Without a Cause, kind of major film starring James Dean from the 1950s. That's a film that we study. Whiplash, which is a much more modern film about a sadistic drum teacher. You can see an image from that film at the bottom of the screen. It's another film that we study. We study older classics again, like Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window, more modern, more contemporary animated film, like Spirited Away, a Japanese animated film. And we also study a modern Swedish vampire film called Let the Right One In. So we study a range of different films from different periods in film history, and from around the world as well, from different locations around the world. In GCSE Film Studies, you also get a chance to study the history of film and how the industry has developed over time. So you'll get a kind of broad understanding of film history and how film has developed. So for the written parts of GCSE Film Studies, the academic parts of Film Studies, you're studying films in a similar way to the way that you might study books in English. But instead of looking at kind of language and how that's used by writers in things like novels or poems, the way that you might look at it in English, we're looking more at things like how filmmakers use the camera, or how they use sound, or how they use costume to kind of create meaning in their films. But in terms of the style of analysis, it's very, very similar to the kind of writing you might be doing in English. We also study films from around the world. It's one of the major parts of the course is looking at international films. So we study a range of films and film movements from other countries, as well as just the UK and the American film industry. You also get the opportunity to do practical tasks in GCSE Film Studies as well. So you can either make your own short film, or you can produce a screenplay and photograph storyboard. And we're going to show you an example of a short film made by GCSE Film Studies students next. So in addition to the subject itself, we also run a lot of trips, both for media studies and for film studies at A-level and GCSE. We've got really close links with the British Film Institute, and we regularly go to their workshops with our students and their study days. We also take students on free visits to the cinema as part of the London Film Festival. And recently we've taken trips to see films including I, Tonya, The Hurt Locker, a film called Submarine. We also have links, mainly with media studies students, with Sky Studios, and we've taken students to Sky Studios as part of a news day where they get to record their own news bulletins. So GCSE Film Studies is a new course for us, so that means we don't have any past exam results for it. But we've always got really, really good results for our GCSE Media Studies courses that the Media and Film department also runs. So the last year that we had exams in, because obviously the last academic year was a little bit different because we were estimating grades, but the last year where students actually took exams, 86% of GCSE Media Studies students got grades 9 to 5. And over 42% got grades 9 to 6. And we've also taught A-level film studies for many years at the school, and the results for A-level film studies are excellent as well. So again, in the last year where students actually sat exams, 100% of students got grades A to C, and 70% of students got A or B grades. Hopefully we'll be able to, students will be able to achieve grades that are kind of in line with that for GCSE Film Studies as well. So finally, we just like to say that we hope you found the presentation useful. We hope that you've learned something about GCSE Film Studies, and we'd like to thank you very much indeed for listening. And if anybody's got any questions, if students have got questions, then please feel free just to come and see me in school. And any parents who have questions, if you do have a question, then please feel free to just send me an email. My email address is mnott, that's MNOTT, at carshaltongirls.org.uk. Thanks very much indeed for listening.